Welcome, seekers of the truth, to the Magical Services channel. So this is going to be a most supreme love horoscope for the general collective for the time when the moon is in Aquarius. And eerily enough, this happens to coincide with a full moon in Aquarius. But this horoscope will be for that time frame. So with no further ado, let's get into your horoscope. So this is a highly and oh, I should specify the times. So we're currently, as I'm filming this video, the moon is already in Aquarius and it'll remain there until the 31st, about less than 20 minutes from noon Universal Time. So that's the time frame that this reading is about. So this is a highly consequential 3-day relationship window because like I said, the data set opens on a full moon in Aquarius with the Sun and Leo facing the moon in Aquarius and both closely activated by Jupiter and Pluto. The emotional atmosphere is therefore not casual or superficial. Something about love, attachment, independence, expectations, or the balance of power between two people is being brought into unusually clear view. The central relationship story is the tension between heart and autonomy. Leo wants love to be personal, expressive, warm, demonstrative, and unmistakably chosen. Aquarius asks whether the relationship actually permits freedom, individuality, honesty, and psychological space. The full moon exposes where those principles have become incompatible and where they can be reconciled. The strongest feature is the Sun-Jupiter conjunction in Leo, tightening from roughly 0.09 orb to 0.00 over the period. This is an enormous amplifier of romantic expression. It can increase confidence, generosity, affection, sexual charisma, and the desire to make a relationship feel significant. Existing relationships can experience renewed enthusiasm. New connections can feel unusually promising. But Jupiter magnifies whatever is already present. If the relationship is healthy, warmth expands. If expectations are inflated, so are disappointments. At the same time, the Leo Sun-Jupiter conjunction stands opposite retrograde Pluto in Aquarius. That introduces the counterforce, intensity, control, obsession, vulnerability, and the confrontation with hidden relational power dynamics. This is not merely quote-unquote romance gets bigger. It is romance becomes consequential. A person may suddenly recognize how much emotional power another person has acquired over them. Someone may realize that they have been over-accommodating or controlling or withholding or idealizing or unconsciously demanding reassurance. Pluto retrograde makes this especially introspective. Relationship transformation begins by confronting one's own motives rather than attempting to reform the other person. The moon's movement through Aquarius deepens that process. Beginning at around 7 degrees Aquarius immediately after the full moon, it advances to nearly 30 degrees Aquarius by July 31st. Emotionally, this is a progression from detachment and observation toward a decisive mental conclusion. The first phase can feel cool, analytical, or strangely detached despite intense feelings underneath. By the end of the period, however, the emotional picture becomes much clearer. This is particularly important for people involved in relationships where friendship, intellectual compatibility, independence, or unconventional circumstances are central. The question becomes, can we love each other without possessing each other? Meanwhile, Mercury in Cancer moves steadily forward through approximately 18 to 19 degrees, so communication therefore remains emotionally colored. People are more likely to speak from memory, attachment, vulnerability, family conditioning, and the need for emotional safety than from detached logic. This is excellent for honest conversations about what makes someone feel cared for, but potentially difficult when old emotional grievances are brought into current disagreements. Mercury's relationship with Pluto reinforces the need to speak about uncomfortable material. The right conversation the right conversation can expose the actual problem beneath repetitive arguments. The wrong conversation can become emotionally manipulative, defensive, or excessively probing. The distinction is whether communication is being used to understand or to gain leverage. The most immediately provocative romantic signature is Venus in Virgo, square Mars in Gemini, with the square remaining extremely tight throughout the entire period. This is classic attraction with friction energy. Venus in Virgo wants discernment, reliability, attentiveness, competence, and tangible demonstrations of affection. It asks, what are you actually doing for this relationship? Mars in Gemini wants stimulation, conversation, variety, movement, and mental engagement. It asks, is this relationship still interesting and alive? Together, they create considerable chemistry, but also irritability. One person may want consistency while the other wants spontaneity. One may interpret questioning as criticism, the other may interpret emotional seriousness as pressure. Sexual attraction can be strong precisely because the two energies don't quite settle comfortably together. The solution is not to eliminate the difference, it is to use it constructively. Venus can teach Mars that attention and follow-through matter. Mars can remind Venus that relationships need play, humor, curiosity, and intellectual oxygen. This is especially favorable for couples willing to turn tension into flirtation rather than turning every difference into evidence of incompatibility. Uranus in Gemini adds another layer of unpredictability. It remains direct while Mars moves through Gemini, creating a restless electrically charged atmosphere. Sudden messages, unexpected encounters, unusual attractions, abrupt changes in communication patterns, or surprising revelations are possible. Relationships that have become stagnant may suddenly demand movement, yet Uranus is not inherently a breakup signature. It is an authenticity signature. It destabilizes what has become artificial. That becomes especially important because the true North Node is around 29 degrees Aquarius, while the South Node is at 29 degrees Leo. The nodal axis is at a critical sign-ending degree, emphasizing a collective transition away from old Leo-style attachment patterns, needing to be specially chosen, for instance, or admired or validated or emotionally centered, and toward Aquarius principles of equality, authenticity, freedom, and mutual respect. The data set becomes particularly interesting because the true North Node's motion slows dramatically and changes from retrograde to direct between July 30th and July 31st. Whether interpreted technically as a station or as a data set defined directional transition, this is symbolically striking. A relationship pattern is reaching a turning point. The old relational script is no longer moving forward in the same way. The South Node in Leo says, stop making love prove your worth. The North Node in Aquarius says, build relationships in which both people remain fully themselves. Black Moon Lilith provides another major evolutionary thread. She moves rapidly from approximately 24 degrees Sagittarius through the final degrees of Sagittarius and into 0 degrees Capricorn by July 31st. This is a dramatic sign transition within the dataset. Lilith in late Sagittarius exposes uncompromising truth, the desire to say what cannot be safely said, reject false moralities, and refuse relationships that require self-betrayal. As she crosses into Capricorn, that raw truth becomes confronting structures, commitment, status, responsibility, authority, boundaries, and the practical architecture of partnership. In love, this asks a hard question. What happens when desire collides with obligation? A relationship may survive intense desire easily. It is harder to sustain when desire conflicts with responsibilities, social expectations, career priorities, family structures, or personal ambitions. Lilith entering Capricorn insists that authenticity must be eventually structurally viable. The waning moon provides the overall direction of these 3 days. This is not fundamentally an initiation period. It is a period of digestion, revelation, adjustment, and release. The full moon has already illuminated something. The waning phase asks what you are going to do with what you now know. For couples, this favors honest recalibration rather than dramatic ultimatums. Talk about expectations. examine control dynamics, make room for individuality, address practical problems rather than endlessly analyzing emotional symptoms. For singles, this period can produce powerful attraction, particularly toward intelligent, unusual, independent, or unconventional people. But intensity should not automatically be mistaken for compatibility. The Sun-Jupiter conjunction, and with this aspect to Pluto opposition, with this opposition aspect to Pluto, can make a connection feel faded precisely because it activates a deep psychological material. Give attraction time to reveal whether it is genuinely reciprocal and sustainable. Ultimately, the romantic message of this period is not, quote unquote, choose love over freedom, or quote unquote, choose freedom over love. It is more sophisticated. Choose a form of love in which freedom and devotion are not enemies. The full moon exposes what has become emotionally impossible to ignore. Venus and Mars generate chemistry and friction. Jupiter expands desire. Pluto exposes power dynamics. Uranus disrupts stale patterns. The nodes demand evolutionary movement. Lilith refuses self-betrayal. By July 31st, the question is therefore less, quote unquote, does this person love me? And more, quote unquote, does this relationship allow both of us to become more completely ourselves? That is the real romantic threshold opening now. So that is what I had for you today, collective. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please feel free to like this video, or comment this video, or share this video, or hype this video, or subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, or hype our channel by letting your friends and acquaintances who would benefit from it know about it. All those acts would be great and greatly appreciated. Now, there's a magical service being offered in the description box. Feel free to check it out. It could be very useful. This is, after all, a magical channel. Now, beyond that, I thank you so much for being here and for being part of our channel. And know that I'll, as I always try to do, I always try to keep fresh stuff on here for y'all. All sign readings, sign-specific readings, longs and shorts, divinations and astrology readings, and in fact, whatever else you'd like to see if it is feasible. So let me know about it in the comments. And beyond that, I thank you so much for being here, like I was saying, and being part of our circle, being part of our network, being part of our tribe, and supporting our channel. Until the next time, blessings.